Hi everyone, welcome to this week 5 video in this semester. So week 5 is going to be about sections 1.6 and 2.1. So if you're already watching this video, then you already have gotten started in this module, right? So here we have what you'll be able to learn at the end of this module with our learning objectives here, and you'll detailed list of the assignments you need to complete from this module, okay? So, other than that, that means you're watching the week 5 video. So learning objective, section 1.6, right? So in this learning objective, you'll be able to learn the definition of a derivative, uh, take respective first derivatives, kind of discuss tangent lines, and etc., right? So this section is a little more abstract than, for an applied calculus class. So if you don't understand everything right away, it's okay. Just take it with a grain of salt. But this is sort of an introduction to what derivatives are, and we're going to be using derivatives a lot, especially in kind of application context problems. So watch the video, take the notes, try to understand a little bit of stuff. But if you're not understanding everything, like try not to stress out too much about it. What's really important is the next section, which is 2.1. So 2.1 is where we get really into the derivative of a function, right? We're going to be using this like a lot, probably the rest of the semester. So know what it means to find a derivative, recognize different notations, shortcuts, and interpretations and tangent lines, right? Those are our learning objectives for 2.1. So definitely put some focus in 2.1. Here's a lecture video, right? We got a couple of parts for this lecture video. First two are quite short. The last one is like around 20 minutes. So kind of pace yourself through that, but really try to hone in on this material. And then most importantly, get some practice in with the self-check 1.6, 2.1, okay? Get some practice in. It's important to get the good basis for this 2.1 derivative stuff, right? So if you're having trouble with that, you can watch this video of me going over self-check 1.6 and 2.1. So make sure to check those out if you are struggling a bit, okay? And then, you have homework for 1.6, just a couple questions, mainly about average rate of change. And then we have section 2.1 homework, a couple more questions there, but all about derivatives, tangent line, things like that. Okay. All right. So after that, you end up with the lab 3 discussion. So with the lab 3 discussion, you just post a problem from lab 3, right? That's about 1.6 and 2.1. So one thing I want to say about that is I have kind of this note here for 1.6 number 14. You don't have to use the whole definition of derivative. You can use average rate of change. We'll see a couple examples like that. But lab 3, discussion. And then lab 3, let's do next Wednesday. So yeah, here's another note here. Like you don't need to use the definition of a derivative, like which we will learn in 1.6 to find the instantaneous rate of change. If it's too confusing, you can just find the average rate of change from 5 to 6, then 6 to 7, and then just average those two out. There's an example like this in the self-check and an example like this in the 1.6 notes in case you're not sure entirely how to do it. But here's lab 3's 1.6 to 1.1. I have another hint here and just the solutions here. So 9, 19, 8, or 9, or negative 11, and so on and so forth. And then for number 36, I have the same problem on the self-check. So you can just use that solution for this and try to understand what's going on, okay? It's an interpretation problem and use it to help out number 30. Okay, so that's lab 3. And then that's it. You're done for the module and you should have completed all these assignments. And then this just helps us get ready for using more derivatives in applications like biology, social science, business, cost, profit, revenue, and it just gets us ready to learn more derivative rules for next week. Okay, so we can use them as tools and apply them. But other than that, that's it for this module. Hopefully you get this done on time and let me know if you have any questions, okay? All right, see you next time. Thank you. Bye.